You've been busy, but not with your life. You've been running, not toward something, but away. Away from silence. Away from yourself. And if we're being honest, you don't even remember the last time you felt like you. Stay with me for a second, because in the next few minutes, I'm going to show you something most people never realize. I will show you why constantly showing up for everyone else is quietly destroying your life, and how focusing on yourself, completely, might be the only thing that saves it. And before we go deeper, I want you to do something simple. If any part of what I just said already feels a little too real, type, "I need this," in the comments. Not for me, for you. Let that be the moment you stop scrolling and start listening. Because here's the truth no one says out loud. You've been available to everyone, except yourself. You answer messages instantly. You show up when people call. You adjust your mood to keep the peace. You carry responsibilities that were never even yours to begin with. And from the outside, it looks admirable. Responsible. Selfless. But inside, it's exhausting. Not the kind of tired sleep fixes, the kind that sits in your chest. The kind that makes you feel like you're slowly disappearing from your own life. And the strangest part is, you didn't even notice when it started. There wasn't a single moment where you said, "I'm going to lose myself now." It just happened quietly. One compromise at a time. One yes when you meant no. One decision to put yourself later, again, and again, and again. Until one day, you look at your life and something feels off, but you can't explain it. This is not a judgment. It's a mirror. Because there is a philosophy, not created in comfort, not taught in motivational seminars, but built in hardship, in pressure, in real life, and that explains exactly what's happening to you. It is called Stoicism. And at its core, it offers a truth so simple it almost sounds harsh. You can only control yourself. Your mind. Your choices. Your actions. Nothing else. Not people. Not outcomes. Not opinions. Not expectations. And yet, most of your energy has been going into everything outside of that. That's the problem. Marcus Aurelius, a man who literally ruled an empire, still woke up every morning to remind himself of this. Not because he had time, but because he understood something most people ignore. If you don't take care of your inner world first, you have nothing real to give the outer one. Epictetus, who was born into slavery, understood it from the opposite side. He had nothing external. No power. No freedom. And yet, he found something most free people never find, which is control over himself. And that's where your power actually is. But instead of turning inward, you've been spreading yourself outward. Trying to manage people. Trying to meet expectations. Trying to be everything for everyone. And slowly, you've become someone you don't even recognize. So let me ask you something, and I want you to actually think about it. When was the last time you felt like yourself? Not performing. Not adjusting. Not surviving. Just being yourself. Take a second. Because for a lot of people, that answer doesn't come easily. And that gap, between who you are, and who you've been pretending to be. That gap is where your exhaustion lives. We live in a world that quietly rewards self-neglect. From a young age, you're taught that being a good person means giving more, asking for less, and never making your needs uncomfortable for others. You're praised for sacrifice. You're admired for tolerance. You're expected to always understand. But the moment you set a boundary, the moment you say no, the moment you choose yourself, everything changes. Suddenly you're selfish. You're difficult. You've changed. So what do most people do? They go back to abandoning themselves. And they get really good at it. Seneca saw this thousands of years ago and said something that still hits today. He said people are busy without purpose, active without progress, filling their lives with noise while their real life quietly slips away. That's not ancient history. That's now. And that is you, if you're not careful. And here's what makes it dangerous. It doesn't feel wrong while you're doing it. It feels responsible. It feels necessary. It even feels noble. But underneath all that, there's something else. Avoidance. Because if you stop, if you actually sit still, if you finally turn inward, you might have to face questions you've been avoiding. What do I actually want? Who am I becoming? Is this even my life? And that's uncomfortable. So instead, you stay busy. You keep giving. You keep adjusting. You keep running. Not toward something, but away. And if this is hitting you right now, don't ignore it. Just acknowledge it. You don't have to fix everything today. But at least be honest. And if you're still here listening, it means something in you already knows. This isn't sustainable. And more importantly, this isn't who you're meant to be. Good, stay with me. Because once you see this next part clearly, it becomes very difficult to go back to living the same way. Here's what most people don't realize. The people you're exhausting yourself for don't actually need the version of you you've been giving them. They don't need the tired version. They don't need the drained version. They don't need the version of you that's constantly stretched thin trying to keep everything together. They need the real you. The calm you. The grounded you. The present you. And that version only exists when you stop abandoning yourself. But instead, you've been operating from a place of depletion. Giving from empty. And then wondering why nothing feels right. Marcus Aurelius understood this in a way that most people never will. Imagine having the weight of an entire empire on your shoulders. Decisions that affected millions. Pressure that never stopped. And yet, every morning, before the world touched him, he sat down and wrote to himself. Not for fame. Not for recognition. Just to remind himself who he was. He wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." That wasn't theory. That was survival. Because he knew, if he lost control of himself, nothing else he controlled would matter. And now look at your life. You might not be running an empire, but your mind is constantly being pulled in different directions. Notifications. Expectations. Opinions. Responsibilities. And instead of grounding yourself, you react to everything. Every message shifts your attention. Every mood around you affects you. Every problem becomes your responsibility. So instead of living one life, you end up living fragments of everyone else's. That's why you feel scattered. That's why you feel tired without doing anything meaningful. That's why even when you rest, it doesn't feel like rest. Because your mind is never actually yours. Epictetus explained this in the simplest way possible. He said, "Make the best use of what is in your power, and take the rest as it happens." That's it. That's the line most people never draw. What is yours, and what is not? Your thoughts are yours. Your actions are yours. Your discipline is yours. Other people's opinions are not yours. Their expectations are not yours. Their reactions are not yours. But if you're honest, you've been living as if everything is yours to carry. And that's why you feel overwhelmed. Not because life is too much, but because you've taken on things that were never yours in the first place. And once you see that, you start to understand something deeper. You don't need more time. You don't need more energy. You don't need a different life. You need a different focus. Because your energy isn't gone. It's just been leaking. Leaking into worry. Leaking into people. Leaking into things you can't control. And the moment you redirect it back to yourself, everything begins to change. This is what the Stoics described in a way that feels almost poetic. There is a space inside you, untouched by the outside world. Marcus Aurelius hinted at it constantly. A place where your judgment lives. Your values. Your response to everything. Philosophers called it something powerful. The inner citadel. A place no one can enter unless you allow them. A place where no opinion, no rejection, no chaos can reach. And yet, most people never go there. Not even once. Because they're too busy reacting to everything outside. But here's the truth. The moment you start paying attention to that space, your life begins to shift. Not dramatically. Not overnight. But quietly, steadily, powerfully. And it starts with something that sounds simple, but most people avoid. Paying attention to yourself. Not the version of you people see. Not the version you perform. The real you. Pay attention to what you actually think. What you actually feel. What actually drains you, and what actually matters to you. Most people can tell you what's happening in the news. But ask them what they truly want. They remain silent. Not because they're confused, but because they've never really asked themselves. So let me bring it back to you. Right now. As you're listening to this. Whose voice is guiding your life? Is it yours? Or is it a collection of expectations you've absorbed over time? Think about that. And don't rush past it. Because that question alone, if you sit with it, can start changing everything. And if you're still here, still listening, I want you to do something small again. Just type, "I'm listening," in the comments. Not for engagement. But because when you actively respond, you stop being passive, and you start becoming intentional. And that shift matters more than you think. Because everything that comes next only works if you're actually present for it. Good. This is where things start to shift from just understanding to actually changing something. Because awareness alone doesn't fix your life. A lot of people get this far. They realize they've been living for others, they feel it, they even agree with it. And then, nothing changes. They go right back to the same patterns. Why? Because they never build the habit of returning to themselves. And that's the difference between someone who knows and someone who actually transforms. The Stoics didn't just think differently. They practiced differently. Every single day. And if you're serious about focusing on yourself, not in theory, but in real life, there are a few practices that quietly change everything. Not overnight, but permanently. The first one is something so simple most people ignore it. It is morning ownership. Before the world touches you, you take a few minutes back. Before your phone. Before messages. Before responsibilities. You sit with yourself. And you ask one question. What kind of person am I choosing to be today? Not what do I have to do? Not what do people expect from me? Who am I choosing to be? Calm. Focused. Disciplined. Unbothered. Marcus Aurelius did this without calling it a routine. He simply refused to let the world define his mind before he had a say in it. And you can feel the difference when you do this. Even if it's just 5 minutes. You move through your day with intention, instead of reaction. Now here's the second shift. And this one is where most people finally start feeling lighter. The control check. Throughout your day, things will happen. Someone says something you don't like. Plans don't go your way. You feel tension rising. And in that moment, instead of reacting immediately, you pause. And you ask, is this within my control? Be honest. If it is, you handle it. If it's not, you release it. Not because you don't care, but because you understand something most people don't. Worrying about what you can't control doesn't solve it. It just drains you. Epictetus built his entire philosophy on this. And once you start practicing it, you'll notice something almost strange. You stop getting pulled into everything. You stop reacting to every little thing. You stop feeling like you have to fix everything. And for the first time in a long time, you feel space in your mind. Now the third practice, this one is quiet, but powerful. The evening reset. At the end of your day. Before you sleep, you look back. Not to judge yourself. Not to criticize. But to understand. Where did I show up as my best self today? Where did I lose myself? Where did I give my energy to things that didn't deserve it? Seneca talked about this directly. He treated his days like something worth reviewing, worth refining. Because if you don't reflect, you repeat. And most people are stuck in cycles not because life is hard, but because they never pause long enough to see what they're doing. This breaks that cycle. Slowly. Consistently. And then there's one more, and this one is uncomfortable for a lot of people. But it's necessary. Solitude. Time alone, without distraction. No phone. No noise. No constant input. Just you. And I know, for some people, that feels strange. Even uncomfortable. Because when everything goes quiet, you're left with yourself. But here's what most people don't understand. That discomfort. It's not emptiness. It's disconnection. It's the gap between who you've been and who you actually are. And the only way to close that gap is to sit with it. Not run from it. Not distract yourself from it. Just be there. Even if it's for a few minutes. Because the more you do this, the more familiar you become with yourself. And when you know yourself, you stop needing everyone else's approval to feel okay. You stop over-explaining. You stop over-giving. You stop overthinking every little thing. Because you're no longer disconnected. You're grounded. Now let's address something that might already be coming up in your mind. Guilt. Because the moment you start thinking about focusing on yourself, there's a voice that shows up. Quiet, but strong. Isn't this selfish? Shouldn't I be there for others? What about people who need me? That voice feels real. But it's not truth. It's conditioning. It's what you've been taught. And it's exactly what's been keeping you stuck. Because focusing on yourself doesn't mean abandoning others. It means showing up as someone who is actually whole. Think about it. When you're drained, when you're overwhelmed, when you're constantly stretched, are you really showing up as your best self? Or are you just managing? Reacting? Surviving? Giving what's left, instead of giving your best. That's not service. That's sacrifice without sustainability. And even Seneca made this clear. He said, He who is brave is free. Not free from responsibility, but free from losing himself in it. Because the truth is, the people in your life don't need a version of you that is constantly exhausted. They need someone who is present, clear, grounded. And that version of you only exists when you take care of yourself first, not last. And if this is starting to click for you, don't just listen and move on. Pause for a second and type "I choose me" in the comments. Not as a trend, but as a decision. Because small moments like this matter more than you think. They mark the point where something shifts, where you stop just consuming and start choosing. And everything you're hearing right now only works if you actually choose it. Now here's the part most people don't want to hear, but it's the one that actually sets you free. There is no perfect time to start this. Not when things calm down. Not when life gets easier. Not when you figure everything out. Because that moment doesn't come. Life doesn't pause so you can finally focus on yourself. It keeps moving. It keeps demanding. It keeps pulling at your attention. And if you keep waiting for the right time, you'll look up one day and realize you've spent years living a life that never really felt like yours. The Stoics understood this deeply. They didn't live in comfort. They lived in uncertainty, pressure, loss. And still, they turned inward. Epictetus didn't wait until he was free to take control of his mind. He did it while he was still a slave. Zeno, the founder of Stoicism, lost everything in a shipwreck, and that moment became the beginning of his philosophy. Marcus Aurelius wrote his most powerful reflections not when life was easy, but while dealing with war, disease, and responsibility most people couldn't even imagine. So if you're waiting for things to be perfect before you start focusing on yourself, you're waiting for something that has never existed. And that's the trap. Because the real shift doesn't come from changing your situation first. It comes from changing your direction. From making a decision. A quiet one. A personal one. That from this moment forward, you stop living at a distance from yourself. You stop postponing your own life. You stop treating your peace like something you'll earn later. Marcus Aurelius said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. Not tomorrow. Not when you feel ready. Now." And that's the invitation here. Not perfection. Not a complete reset of your life overnight. Just a turn. A shift in attention. A decision to come back to yourself, again and again, until it becomes who you are. Because you're not behind. You're not broken. You're not too late. You've just been distracted. And now you're starting to see clearly. And once you see clearly, you can't unsee it. You begin to notice where your energy goes. You begin to notice what drains you. You begin to notice when you're abandoning yourself again. And slowly, you start choosing differently. You start saying no when it matters. You stop over-explaining your decisions. You stop needing everyone to understand you. Because you finally understand yourself. And that changes everything. There is only one life you have full access to. One mind you can train. One set of days that will never repeat. And that is enough. More than enough. If you choose to actually live it. Not for everyone else. Not for appearances. Not for expectations. But for yourself. Fully. Honestly, and intentionally. And when you do that, something shifts. You stop chasing validation. You stop comparing your path. You stop feeling like you're missing out on something. Because you're finally present in your own life. And that kind of presence is rare. It's powerful. And people feel it. This is what focusing on yourself really means. Not isolation. Not indifference. But clarity. Strength. Grounded presence. The kind that doesn't need noise to feel important. The kind that doesn't break under pressure. The kind that knows exactly where it stands, even when everything around it is uncertain. And if something in you has been quietly waiting for this moment, this is it. You don't need another sign. You don't need more motivation. You just need to begin. So before you leave this video, do something simple. Type "I choose me" in the comments. Not just as words, but as a line you draw for yourself. A point where things start to change. And if this way of thinking speaks to you, if you're ready to build that quiet strength within yourself, subscribe to Stoic Quiet Strength and turn on the notification bell. Because this is not just one video. This is a process. And every video here is designed to bring you back to yourself, stronger, clearer, more in control. And one last thing. If you want to go deeper into this mindset, there's a full playlist waiting for you in the description. Start there. Take your time with it. Let it work on you. You don't have to rush. You just have to stay consistent. Thank you for being here. Now go inward. And this time, stay there. This is Stoic Quiet Strength. Master your mind or be controlled by it.